Hey Reddit.
Fathers of Reddit, in honor of Father's Day, what was your "don't tell your mother about this" moment?
I am a library of knowledge. For more videos, like and subscribe.
Female coworker of mine was miserable at work one day. I asked her what was wrong. She told me it was her anniversary. And she knew her husband had forgotten. She had preteen girls at home during summer vacation. I knew her home phone number pre-cell phone era. I called her home phone and one kid picked up. Explained to the kid who I was and that she needed to call dad at work and remind him it was mom and dad's anniversary. And don't tell mom or dad I called. The next day she was all smiles. Gosh, he did remember. Brought home flowers and took her to dinner. Mission accomplished. Not a word was ever said about this. Until 6 years later, when she left the company. She gave me a hug at a farewell luncheon. And whispered, "My kids ratted you out. Thank you, you."
You may well have just saved a family a lifetime of trouble with that phone call.
This is my favorite one.
One night I was enjoying a small bit of ice cream after my 4-year-old daughter went to bed. She came downstairs and caught me. So I offered her a small bite. But since she was supposed to be in bed, I said, "Don't tell mom." She assured me she wouldn't. My wife wouldn't have cared anyway, but it was a fun little game to play. After she went up to bed and I was down on the couch, she snuck into the master bedroom where mom was resting. She told mom that I had let her have some ice cream. And she was afraid of sugar bugs, so could she please brush her teeth again? My wife just laughed at me the next day. Little Shiz ratted me out to brush her teeth. Something she doesn't like doing anyway.
And here I am using Paw Patrol electric toothbrushes and toothpaste and frozen mouthwash to coax them into the bathroom before bed.
Great story. Kids say the funniest things. My 7-year-old daughter. She left a wrapper on the worktop instead of putting it in the bin. My wife told her to stop being lazy and to put it in the bin. Then my wife found another wrapper on the worktop. However, this one was from me, dad, and not her. My wife said we were both lazy and my daughter laughed and said, "The nut doesn't fall far from the tree." We have no idea where that came from. But it was so funny.
My dad and I, around 5 years old, were on our way home from a car show when we were getting followed by the cops. My dad struggled to put on his seatbelt quickly in hopes he wouldn't get a ticket. Unfortunately, we got pulled over. This might have been the first time ever that I saw a cop this close up, let alone speak to one. I was a deer in headlights the whole time. Well, with a cop on either side of the car. The officer leaned in and asked my dad why he was swerving. That dick told the cops I was tickling him. The cops looked at me straight in the eyes and asked if this was true. I was too scared to say anything and just nodded yes. The officers smiled and said, "Never to do that again while your father is driving." Okay. They left without any further words and my dad gave me the lecture of "Don't tell your mom." TLDR, dad and I get pulled over when he tried to get his seatbelt on. Blamed it on me tickling him instead.
1. Hang out with your dad at the car show. 2. Lie to the cops for him. 3. Keep quiet to your mum. Sounds like you tickle of the boxes for being a great son, daughter.
I laughed so hard when I read "that dick told." I don't know you, but I somehow pictured your face emphasizing the word dick, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing.
Not a father but a son. We forgot my passport during vacation and were already at the border station when we noticed. My dad then said that we won't turn back but that he will figure something out. Turns out he smuggled me successfully across 3 border crossings without my passport. Before we arrived at home, he told me not to tell my mom about this.
How the hell did he manage that? Stuff you in a suitcase?
We were on a school trip abroad and the teachers lost my brother's passport. Returning home, we went through border control. I went through while the teachers explained the situation to security. My brother had to sign a form or something. And then I had to stand the other side of the passport checking booth and confirm I knew him and he was related to me. Nearly 10 years later, when he pisses me off, I joke I should have pretended to have no idea who he is. Dad and I used to rent a movie each week for when Mum had dinner with friends. Usually things like Star Trek or action films. One day I was about 11, he came home with Blade. We got about 10 minutes in and he turns to me and said, "Don't tell your mother about this. Let's just say I forgot to get it this week." Of course I agree. Fast forward 7-ish years. Dad blithely drops at the dinner table the fact that we watched Blade when I was about 11. Silly Dad thought there was some kind of statute of limitations on this.
For my dad and I, it was cop movies like Last Boy Scout, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, etc. At the time my mum lost her shiz when she found out I was fond of those kind of TV movies, cause I'd already seen the theatrical versions LMAO.
When my 3-year-old wakes up in the middle of the night, like maybe 3 times a month, instead of putting her back to sleep, okay, her stay up and partake in whatever it is I am doing no matter what. Sometimes she falls asleep in minutes and sometimes she stays up for a couple hours. I think it's amazing times. I think it may even be dream-like for her by the way she speaks and moves. She has painted with me, heard my books read aloud, watched Lord of the Rings and cooked creme brulee. The rule is, it's my time, so if she's gonna be with me she does what I'm doing just like I do for her all day long. She totally gets it and never makes it about her. My goodness. Thank you everybody for your comments and your awards. What a special day to be recognized as a father.
My dad did this as well. I'll never forget falling asleep in his lap while we watched Gunsmoke.
I wish I could explain why. But this is the story that broke me. Something about the quiet hour of the night. Almost dreamlike for your daughter. The comfort it must bring her to simply be with you when she wakes up. The chance to interact with you on your level. I don't know, man. I hope so much to be a dad someday, and these are the types of moments I can only hope for. Thanks for sharing.
Come here.